Afternoon to this session is about how are we going to use generative AI in marketing? What is generative AI and how it is going to impact marketing, right? As one vertical. So I'm going to share my screen with all of you. Please let me know if this is when my screen is visible. And just 1 second. Yeah. So all right. So can someone confirm if my screen is visible to all of you? And we can start. I'll set the context of this. Just 1 second. Someone is written something on chat. Yes, thank you so much, guys, for joining in. All right, perfect. Good. So, all right. So I'll set the context of this webinar. The duration of this webinar is going to be more or less around 1 hour. We can extend a bit if needed. The context of this webinar is how will generative AI shape the future of marketing, right? We all are aware that what artificial intelligence is and what pace it is coming and changing the world around us. Not one particular industry, but almost every single industry is going to be impacted massively with artificial intelligence, especially generative AI. Now, generative AI is slightly different from artificial intelligence, and specifically, it is going to be very, very useful in marketing as a domain. And this webinar is all about that, right? This webinar is divided in two parts predominantly. One, we will talk about the generative AI and some decluttering of what AI is, how we look at these jargons, AI, machine learning, deep learning, what are neural networks, etc., and where do they really fit in the overall scheme of things. Second, how generative AI is going to impact one vertical, which we are going to talk about today, which is marketing, right? So if this is very, very clear to you, we will move forward. All right. So before we start, three core things that we are going to address in this webinar. First, we will understand the context. Why are we talking about this now? And why is this important? Why everyone and every single company is investing so much in generative AI? Why this is going to be the future? And why every single course, curriculum, uh, all educational entities, companies, they are looking for talents who have the experience and understanding of artificial intelligence, machine learning, or deep learning, some of these things, and how they are going to really impact different businesses, what exactly you need to do to get there, some of those things. So we'll clear that. We will also come a bit close from zoom out, and we will talk about few basic terms. So we all in this webinar, at the end of 1 hour, we all will have at least a bit of fair understanding of what these terms really mean, right? What is the core difference between deep learning and machine learning and artificial intelligence, and where they really fit in, right? We also talk about where are we now in this journey. If you remember, in September 2022, ChatGPT came. OpenAI released their tool, ChatGPT, and since then, everyone started talking about generative AI. But it goes long back, around 1988, when the first research paper was published by Google. And then, therefore, companies were doing a lot of research in the backdrop, and then products started, coming in now in front of us, and then we are using them on day-to-day basis. And this is precisely the reason we call them general purpose AI, because you can use this for anything and everything, right, out there. This is not really a domain of study, domain of research and science. This is a product which came out for us, and we can now start using it on a day-to-day life. This tomorrow it is going to be embedded in cars, then your appliances, IoT, and so much more. So the possibilities are immense. Uh, in fact, we do not really know what all holds in the future. But what we do know is that it is very, very important for us to learn it today, and then it is going to hugely impact our career going forward tomorrow, right? And that's exactly the ground zero. When we'll come down, we'll talk about WIIFM. It's a Gen Z term which kids are using these days. It's about what's in it for me. So this session is also going to be about what are you going to take away from this webinar once you're attending it. You're giving 1 hour of your time. what are things that you're going to learn, right? How can just after the webinar you can start, making use of generative AI tools, technologies in your day-to-day life. How can you bring efficiency in anything and everything that you do? And then few bold conjectures, right? Bold conjectures are needed because like I said, we don't know where we are heading. There's so much that is going to change around us very soon. Companies are investing a lot of money, pouring a lot of money in generative AI, and then the technologies and tools which generative AI can change our lives with. So there'll be so many startups coming in. There'll be so many businesses emerging very, very soon. So we will make some bold conjectures based on some of the research, that have gone through, that we've learned, and then how we can take it forward, right? So let's start. There is a there is a book called Crossing the Chasm, and as per the author of the book, he says that there is a thing called diffusion of innovation, right? It's a theory, diffusion of innovation. And according to this theory, people are divided in three groups, right? Three, four groups. One is early adopters, then early majority, late majority, and then laggards, right? Three, four groups. But especially when it comes to generative AI and overall scheme of artificial intelligence and machine learning, what we've seen is that people are largely divided in three groups, right? First, who are aware, they know what AI is, they've heard about this here and there, they are relatively active on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. So they got to know what it is, right? They know that everyone is talking about it, and this is going to be the future tomorrow. The second group of people are curious, right? So they are aware, as well as they've watched few videos on YouTube, they watched few documentaries on Netflix, etc. And there are beautiful documentaries around it. They've read few blogs, few subscribed to few newsletters, etc. So they are a bit aware, fairly aware compared to the first one. And the third one are doers, right? And these are like really top 2% people in the, if you talk about in India, there are top 2% in metros who really have started using generative AI tools, right? Uh, all right. We also have seen that the kind of doers who are there in the market and the people who use these tools, they've been able to bring a lot of efficiency in anything and everything that they do, right? They are writing better emails, they are writing better copies for their social media, especially when it comes to marketing and digital marketing as a domain. They write better scripts, they come up with better podcast scripts. They so for example, let's say you are into investing, you want to do stock research, etc. You can just copy a chart, and it's difficult for you to understand a lot of, let's say uh, a candle chart, and then you can just take a screenshot, upload in a tool, and then it'll explain you everything like a 5-year-old, and whether this stock is good bet for you to invest or not, right? So a lot of people are using generative AI tools for that. A lot of people are using it to create scripts for their videos that they are going to create. So content creators, and we all have heard of this word called creator economy. So they are largely thriving on generative AI tools, and how they are going to change. My objective at the end of the session is to help you understand what is generative AI, why are we talking about it today, why is this important, and some data around it, and then how can you really make use of these tools, right? So my clarity is my objective of this session is to bring you from if you're in the first or second, to bring you to third. If you're in the third bucket, thankfully, to help you understand possibly with the better tools and technologies and some of the prompts that can help you learn this much better, right? If this is so far is clear to you, let's zoom out. That was the part of one context that we discussed, and understand what are general terms that we really talk about in generative AI. We have heard of these terms: large language models, deep learning, generative AI, neural networks, machine learning, and then recently we've got to know about GPT, right? Generative pretext transformer. Now, this word itself explains how ChatGPT works, and we will talk about it in a bit. But these terms are often very, very confusing. We are not very clear with what do they mean. We are not very clear with what is the real difference between large language models and generative AI. And when you are actually moving from first one, which is awareness, to doers, why understanding these terms becomes very, very important, right? One of the context is that when you are learning to use generative AI tools, you need to give these tools certain instructions. So having a clear understanding of what is the difference between these terms, how do they really operate at the broader level, can really help you understand how to craft the right instructions and how to make the tool more useful for you, right? And that is precisely is going to be the outcome of the session, when you will learn how to give the right instructions to these generative AI tools and how to take the right outcome that is going to be far more efficient and save a lot of your time. All right, let's move forward. These are the three broader things that we're going to address: why and what, where are we now, and where are we appear to be heading. Essentially, we'll move from confusion, which largely comes from a lot of terms and jargons, to clarity. We will learn how to bring them into the application, uses, and move forward, right? Let's take a step, closer to this and talk about three core things. One, what is artificial intelligence? Why is this important to us? Why everyone is talking about this today? And then if you've already heard of ChatGPT, DALI, Autopilot, Midjourney, Google Bard, right? And why these tools are important, and how can we make use of these tools? And then setting expectations of what we can really do, and what is possible and what is not possible with these tools and technologies. So let's move towards clarity. These are the three key terms which are generally popular in when we talk about generative AI and AI in general. Since all of you have enrolled for some of these programs with us, either data analytics or artificial intelligence, more or less these terms will come in your line, right? More or less, someday you will interact with these tools, because if you need to process a large amount of data to do data analysis, maybe machine learning will come in picture. If you understand machine learning, of course you are in the broader scheme of artificial intelligence. So the first thing to understand, guys, is AI is a discipline, right? Like science is a discipline, like physics is a discipline, but physics alone or science alone cannot solve anything. You need to get deeper to understand how this particular domain, this particular discipline is going to solve a particular problem, or answer a particular question that I have, or create create something for my business that where I have a need, right? So this science is largely devoted to making machines think and act like humans. So whoever has, if you've learned programming in the very beginning of your career, if you're coming from the computer science background, this used to be the one of the subjects that we used to study in computer science, where we broadly understand how AI can really mimic the behavior of human. But now, since a lot of research has gone into this, a lot of large data which got created, and the outcome that a lot of companies started doing research around this, we realized that how can really this happen on ground, right? Uh, let's move to machine learning. Now, generally, we are confused between these two terms, so it's important to get clarity here. AI is not equals to machine learning. Machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence, right? So AI is a discipline. Machine learning is all about processing large amount of data without human intervention, without doing a lot of handwritten programming, right? So you train system in such a way that they learn how to do certain tasks, right? They use neural networks, they think and act like human, they process information like human, they learn to connect the dots, and therefore they are able to do the job without any a lot of handwritten tools that we earlier used to do, which saves a lot of time, which brings a lot of efficiency, which allows us to do a lot of complex processing at scale, right? And now deep learning is again the part of three terms which we generally use. Almost all of you are aware, I believe, about the term data science. Data science is the subset of all three, right? Data science again comes under machine learning, AI, and deep learning. Then we use large language models. They are the subset of deep learning. And therefore, between the large language models, deep learning, and generative AI, if you see here, comes uh, so between all three of this, you get generative AI, right? What it does, what deep learning does, it uses neural network to process more complex pattern than machine learning. So machine learning, you give certain instructions and you let it learn those instructions and reiterate on the same, right? So for example, let's say you've been able to let a machine learning algorithm learn that how to identify a car, right? So machine learning will be able to identify a car, right? Sooner or later, it'll be able to pretty accurately predict that this is the car, this is not a car, this is a car. It's not very, very binary information. But when it comes to deep learning and large language models and neural networks, they literally look at the parameter count and they start predicting what is going to be the next thing, right? Think and behave like humans. So if your deep learning algorithms are running with large data sets, they can immediately understand this is a car, but this does not look like a car, like machine learning algorithm. However, because of the other data sets that I have, I think this looks like a bus, right? Or this looks like a train, which allows deep learning to, and this is how we also operate. We intuitively get to know how to identify something, right? We have certain memory, certain information in our brain about a particular object out there. We'll look at the object, and within a fraction of a second, we are able to identify this object is this or not, right? You can identify a glass, you can identify a bottle, you can identify a laptop, like this. Similarly, deep learning and generative and large language models allow neural networks to operate in a way that think and act like human and help you identify something and predict the next outcome based on the parameter counts. And we will talk about this in a bit. If this is clear, let's move forward. So like I said, artificial intelligence started long back. It started around 1950. It is a technique which allows computer to copy basic human behavior. It's largely a discipline where deep learning and machine learning comes. Machine learning allow computer to learn to solve a specific task. Like I said, you can identify a car or cannot identify a car, right? But when it comes to deep learning, this is a subset of machine learning based on the use of neural networks. I hope this is clear to all of you. Uh, if you see, when deep learning started coming in, then only a lot of artificial general intelligence, generative AI started coming in picture. So this largely happened around 2020, 2022, 2021, but it dates back to 1950. But because over a period of time, a lot of information we've started creating online, a lot of data point was there. When just take an example, when OpenAI team was doing their research and they were trying to identify the right volume of data points to understand how to train a machine to think like human, how to train a machine to use neural networks, they crawled most of the content on Wikipedia, most of the content on Reddit largely, or Quora, some of these forums and communities where they could see huge amount of data, billions and trillions of data points around it. Plus, uh, those data points helped machine understand how do people answer a query, how different tone works, right? How different tonality works, how an aggressive answer looks like, and how let's say peaceful and happy answer looks like, right? So these basic emotions got imbibed in this. And today, if you ask ChatGPT to write a message in 10 different tones, it writes in 10 different tones because it understands how human thinks, right? And how we operate. Let's move forward. Now, this session was about generative AI. So we're going to talk about generative AI hereafter. So the context of generative AI, and before that, it goes to traditional AI, which was the larger data set that we were talking about. It was about analyzing large data set and observing a pattern, right? So for example, you see four tires, you see a hood on top, you see a bonnet in front, you see a steering wheel, you see someone sitting, and you see a color, you see it, there is a road, and this looks like a car, right? So there are certain patterns you give, and therefore it observes a pattern and gives you an outcome. This is something or not, right? And this is how we were also operating in the beginning. We are good at analyzing things. Machines are even better, is what is written here. They can analyze a set of data and find patterns in it, right? We cannot do it. For example, all of you must have used pivot in Excel. You must have used VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP. We use those functions in Excel because there's so much of pattern, there's so much of commonality, there's so much of underlying indicators to identify insights from a data, which intuitively we can't see unless we follow a pattern, unless we try to slice and dice the data in a certain way, right? Machines can do that, the same job, with far more efficiency and at a larger data sets. And if you want to know more about it, there is a documentary that is going to be released on Netflix very soon on how 2024, because most of the elections across the globe are going to happen in 2024. So how bigger companies like and how they are going to use large data sets, the social sentiment, the behavior across channels like Twitter and Quora, Reddit, to identify a sentiment and decide what kind of indicators people are going to have, what kind of political affinity they are going to have. Because you can just observe a pattern based on analyzing, let's say, billions of content on Twitter and Reddit, and see people likely to talk about this, right? This is something where machines are really good at. And if this pattern changes, they can start changing their behavior also. They can say that, you know what, no, this is changing from B to A or A to B, right, in real time. But this is not how generative AI works, right? Like machines are good at machine learning, and artificial intelligence largely is good at identifying the patterns. Generative AI, on the other hand, started creating data, started creating new content which never existed, observing these patterns. So imagine a machine having the clear understanding of how humans think, right? How we operate, how we have different tones, context, different messages, different way of expressing our emotions. Imagine a machine having this, plus having large amount of data sets to identify a pattern and give a next outcome. And therefore, generative AI comes where they're able to create variety of content, right? The moment we talk about this content, they can create content in the form of text. You can write email, like I said, you can create web pages, you can create content for emailers, brochures, etc. You can create codes. Now, gone to the days when you really need to have set of coder expert in a particular language who's going to write a particular code and give an outcome, right? Today, generative AI tools and technologies are getting trained in a way when they can really take an input from you, very, very simple input about, I want to design a brochure like this, I want to design a page like this. You give an input, it will write code for you. It can also cross check whether the code is correct or not. You can test the code. If there is an error coming in the code, it can solve that also, right? Do all the debugging, compiling of the code for you, right? Now, the moment you think of this as a large scale output, let's say there is a big software that needs to be built, and there are 100 different components that needs to be coded, right? What you can do, you can code all those thousand components independently with generative AI, and then have an expert who's going to merge it all, right, and create a tool. So you save a lot of time, you save a lot of resource, you save a lot of cost by doing this. But the people who know how to make use of these tools to create a code which is going to be useful for us or for the business is something which is a skill, and which is highly underrated, a skills that is going to be in need. So therefore, whoever is interested to know about how artificial intelligence works, how data science works, how data analytics works, uh, is very important for them to understand how generative AI also works. And they've huge leap of career opportunity going forward. You can create videos, you can create audios, you can create images, and you can do all of this at scale. You can create hundreds of videos, promotional videos within a day about the brand. You can create audios, and you can mix multiple audios and create a very different audio. I'm sure some of you have gone through those Insta reels, or there are YouTube videos are filled with songs where one song was a particular song was mixed with 4 or 5 different singers. So you have the same song written by, let's say, Adnan Sami and Atif Aslam and all those, and then you will see how generative AI is able to blend it so well that it understand how Atif Aslam really sings, how a particular singer really sings, and then it 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 changed the tone of the singer in a way that looks like he's singing the song, right? So it create content which never existed. It create images which never existed. You see the image here, you know that this image never existed, right? The previous image which I've shown in the slide, this never existed on internet, right? So artificial intelligence created this image, And then this brings and forces us who are using this tool and technology at the verge of creativity. We have to really push ourselves to come up with creative ideas. And it's all about how efficiently you are going to use that tool to bring the outcome. So consider it like, I think there is a quote by someone who says that this consider generative AI is like electricity. You should be able to figure out how you're going to make use of it. It can work efficiently for you. It can change the word, and you can create a product out of it. Or if you don't know how to use it, you may not be able to efficiently bring the benefit of the tool. Now, the third thing which started happening from generative AI. So one, traditional AI we talked about generative AI. We also talked about how it can create a new thing out of it. Now, the new thing which is coming in, when humans are able to efficiently use generative AI, imagine a place, a future, a time in future when you are just merged with this, right? You are able to understand anything at any point in time. Imagine the level of intelligence is deeply encoded in you when you are able to uh, access any information in the world at any point in time, right? You don't really need to learn. And if you think about this, and this is the food for thought for you for the session, and why I said there are certain bold conjectures when uh, if such technologies can be embedded with the human brain. What if you have all the information in the world at any point in time to access, right? From philosophy to physics, everything in the world, right? Whatever is available out there and whatever is worth knowing, everything, right? Imagine the level of power you will have to create something, right? To create something which never existed. You are the best marketeer, plus you are the best scientist, plus you are the best philosopher, plus you are the best poet in the world, right? At this point in time, technologies like Google Bard, ChatGPT reach to that level when they can do anything and everything. They can act like a poet. They can act like the physics professor for you. They can act like a mathematician, and they can explain complex, uh, stock charts to you, right? So that's food for thought. We can think, debate, understand how this is going to shape the future of humanity in the long run. But what is important for us in this session is to understand how generative AI really operates, and what are its applications in the world, and why what we are talking about is going to make sense. Why what we are talking about is going to add a lot of value in the future. So okay, I think I've got a question from Sri Krishna. Can you please give an example of machine learning and artificial intelligence? I think Sri Krishna, I've already answered. If your question is not yet answered, let me know. I'll answer it again. Uh, then Chandan is asking, what are the low investment AI entrepreneurship consulting options in AI? Is there any course tailor made for AI entrepreneurs offered by Edvancer? Okay, so Chandan, it's a brilliant question. Thank you so much for asking this. Yes, we do have a course, and we have introduction to AI, introduction to generative AI. How can you really use and how you can literally start using it. So let's say you are an entrepreneur, you've just started a business, you have 10 different things to do, right? Generative AI can come in the as one layer and solve a lot of things for you by saving the cost, resource cost, and time for your business. Some of the examples are, it can take care of the taxation, and we can talk about that. It can take care of all the hiring part of the business. It can also take care of the it can take care of the customer service, communication, everything around this, right? All right, so let's move forward with this. Since this session is about marketing and how generative AI is going to impact marketing, so we are going to narrow it down to one particular industry, that how this is going to largely change. Uh, no, marketing is something which we all are aware of, right? We all are being marketed by some or the other brand, right? We all are the product of some or the other company out there. Because we have subscribed, we have enrolled, we are on internet, we are consuming content. You must have seen, millions of ad flowing through your feed across the year. People are trying to target you based on your age, based on your gender, based on the location you live in, based on your income level, your designation, and whatnot. But then as a marketer, what is the job that you have? You have to take care of a lot of things at once. You have to be a creator of the content. You create communication journeys. You create advertising campaigns. You create email campaigns. You would have received an email campaign for this webinar where certain information was dogged in from Zoom, so you must have got that. Then we plan marketers plan event, then designers, we do influencer marketing, advertising, market research strategy, and so much more, right? Take care of all these things. So when this really happens, imagine imagine reaching out to a customer and thinking of a funnel, right? When you've shown your ad to someone and then you need to eventually sell a product. Now in this entire journey, and the activities of tasks which are involved in the journey, we rarely get enough time and resources to get everything in time, right? It's very difficult for marketers to kind of get things done on time. uh, and then the question emerges that how can we really automate these things? How can we really bring efficiency in certain things without reducing the quality of communication, without compromising with creative quality? How can we bring efficiency in this? How can we automate a lot of things? What I'm going to help you understand, if you are a content creator, if you are going to write an email to someone, if you are going to write even WhatsApp messages, if you are going to create video content, you are going to learn something, you want to make use of generative AI to simplify those things and understand things easily. If you like to read and understand, you're a book reader, so you can easily understand the summary of book and then you can go ahead and read it. A lot of things can be done. So imagine having extra pair of virtual hand, right? Like a very, very smart expert intern who knows about everything about the core job that you do, and it can do things far more efficiently and faster, right? That's exactly what we are going to ensure that we have some bit of learning of that, so we can understand that. I have got one question from Nikhilesh. He's asking, how does generative AI work? Like, we use ML for regression, classification, and clustering. We fit the model, we validate it, and then display the model. Nikhilesh, we have this question. I have this question answered in the upcoming slide. So you will have that answer. All right. Let's talk about the AI landscape. If you think of this, uh, we have the timeline from 2023 Feb 2023, and see how the conversation of ChatGPT has started skyrocketing, right? How everyone has started talking about ChatGPT and AI in general. If you see, this is the timeline starting from 2021 to 2023, and suddenly how it gone up. It tapered down a bit slightly, but again it started picking up at the last of it, because a lot of hype got created, a lot of PR articles, a lot of news gone out there, and then people started creating content. So searches happened, but then it never gone back to where it was, right? It just started and it just going up since then. This is the data from Google Trends. This largely tells you that what people are talking about on internet, right? And whether the trend, whether the conversation is going up or down. So this is precisely that. But what really happened after 2022? Remember the timeline that I've shown you, that AI started from 1950s, but generative AI and neural networks and deep learning started largely happening around 2022, right? So how things have changed over a period of time in last one year, 2 months, 3 months, how things have changed. There is a website, and it's a beautiful directory of all AI tools I have here, Futurepedia. I recommend all of you to kind of visit this website to understand what all different AI tools, generative AI tools are available in the market. How can I start using those tools, and how can I bring efficiency by using those tools in my business? uh, but if you see on the right hand side of this screen, you must have seen there are different generative AI tools which are clustered in the 4 5 buckets. First is text. You already have 15 to 20 generative AI text tools which are available for you. ChatGPT is just one. There are many other tools, and they are meant to do a specific job. For example, if you see, there is a tool called copy.ai. It is specific to write marketing copies for you, right? Then there's a tool called Anyword. Anyword allows you to create a lot of keyword research for your business. If you want to understand which keyword I should be targeting for my business, who's going to engage more if I create content targeting this particular keyword and for SEO, etc. Similarly, image, we've heard of a few tools like Midjourney and DAL-E, but then if you see, there are many tools available out there. For audio, people are creating audio libraries with generative AI tools, so you can create a different mix of musics with the mix of by mixing these audio tools, you can create code. One of my friend I recently got to know is using Bloop, and she's been able to efficiently have just one full stack developer in the team and use Bloop to create clusters of code, and that full stack developer is just merging those codes, and they are able to launch their app, right? And they're able to launch this in just 2 months. And this includes all the database management. They are already in some large scale database of the product is about dating, etc. So this tool requires a lot of understanding of predictive AI, creating content around it. So Bloop really helped. And like this, if you see, there are many tools available, chatbots, because giving a better customer experience is the eventual goal of any business. And when it comes to marketing and sales, right, eventually you want to ensure that the customers who are there, who have bought the product or intending to buy a product from us, are engaged with us, are becoming loyal to us and becoming a brand advocate going forward, right? Because of the experience that we're giving them. Some of the companies we all know are doing really good job at this, and some of the companies are not able to do. Chatbots comes in between, where you don't really need to have a lot of telecallers or human assistants who are going to do live chats. I remember in 5-6 years back, there were like 300 people sitting in Flipkart office to do live chat to people to solve their queries, right? Now hardly there is one, right? And at the scale where Flipkart is, unless there is a phone call and there is a customer support needed, most of the queries can be answered through chatbot itself. And all these companies, biggies who are dealing with large amount of data, having those resources, human resources, becomes not, it doesn't give you economic output out of it, right? You don't get the right ROI. So automating these jobs with the efficiency of generative AI, where generative AI really understands your business, understand your customer, understand the product that you're selling, understand the marketplace in which you are in, and then it automatically starts answering the queries based on all the data sets which are available, right? You can create video content through generative AI. Let's one second. Let's move forward. This chart on the left-hand side came from Statistica. It's from 2023, and it shows how artificial intelligence market has grown. So if you want to build a career in artificial intelligence, there is no better time than this, right? You see how things have started changing in last 2-3 years only, and what the future looks like by 2030. By 2030, I'm sorry, there's so much of research done across big consulting companies like KPMG, Deloitte, Ben, Gartner, and almost all of them suggest that 2030, by 2030, the artificial intelligence market is going to be huge in billions. Uh, let's talk about the jobs and market growth statistics. 40% of business leaders will purchase AI solutions from tech vendors within next 1 year. This data is from Deloitte, and this information is from 2023. So by the end of 2024, imagine 40% of business leaders are buying some or the other AI products, which we mentioned in the previous slide, about either text or image or audio or chatbots, from different solution providers. And if those products are already there, the people who are expert in generative AI, people who are expert in artificial intelligence as a whole, their role, their requirement, their job just goes up, right? 50% of adults believe AI will lead to increased job creation in the technology field. And if you read any research paper, you kind of get to align to this. 82% of business leaders agree that AI will enhance their employees' poor performance and job satisfaction. So it can also help train people faster. This is upskilling and learning AI is not really an alternate. The people who are part of the session, you probably are one of those early adapters who are doing it now. Very soon, 3-4 years down the line, you will realize that People who are doing even in BCom, BA, coming from diverse backgrounds will be forced to learn artificial intelligence. Otherwise, they may not be relevant in their job, right? It's as good as important as learning Microsoft Office or learning computers, right? This is going to be useful in any and every domain very, very soon, right? Now, there was a question from someone asking how generative AI really works, how AI really works. So this largely talks about that from 2014 to 2022, how artificial intelligence has started understanding and creating better outcome, right? Imagine the quality of content which was produced in 2024 and 2022, and how the data points which AI used to read and understands, and more input was given towards the quantum of data points it used to take better decisions, right? Um, in fact, on this, there was a research done in the month of February 2022, and the research was to create different photos. So one was set of real photos and then set of synthetic photos, right? The R that you see are the real photos created by like photos clicked, and S was the photos created by artificial intelligence, right? Now, what it says, this data says that if you see, these are the real photos, right? And what it says, what the percentage says that the people were given these photos, like there was a research done on this, and there were like tens of thousands of people. These photos were served to them to simply identify which photo they like, right? And based on the kind of photos they liked, AI created those photos. So the synthetic photos that you see here are the kind of photos which people liked, and based on their likability, AI created these photos and served them, right, in front of them. Now, what this data says, this data clearly says that AI understands what we like. And this is powerful, because once AI understand the kind of faces we like, AI understand the kind of content we like, and we are more likely to respond to. AI can create such content at scale. Imagine a machine learning how we think and how likely we are react to something, and how less likely we are react to something. And now just translate this in the form of a messaging, in the form of a marketing copy, in the form of a video, in the form of content that we create to communicate. AI learn better over a period of time what kind of emails are likely to give you better response when you're sending it to customers, and create such emails at scale, right? And if you have 10,000 products, it knows that what kind of emails are needed for a particular type of product, which are likely to get more response, and then it creates that product. You can read more about this research on the link mentioned below on the source. This video will get uploaded on Edvancer YouTube. I suggest all of you to subscribe to the video, and all the webinars that we're going to do in the future also, you will have those contents available there. So you can access this from there and you can read more about it. Now, so one is about images, one is about content. Then imagine about the videos, imagine about the movies. AI really learns what kind of movies we are more likely to engage to, what kind of ads we are more likely to engage to. So now companies uh, and some of the big organization in this, like YouTube, which is second biggest and largest search engine apart from Google, they're doing research on what kind of videos are getting more traction, and what if we allow one section of YouTube where AI created videos are there, and what research predicts that that section of YouTube is likely to get more engagement, because at every next second AI will be able to predict what you as a human are likely to see, and every person will see different videos, right? If there's 16 17 people, or I can see 34 people in this webinar, every person will see different video, and every person will see different video based on the kind of content that you're likely to more engage with one clear objective. If someone is willing to sell a product to you, let's say that video is sponsored by a company, and that video is coming to, let's say, an example, a person called Ram. Now Ram is able to uh, see that video, and his video is going to very different than others video. His very next second video is going to be very different, uh, tuning towards the direction when Ram is likely to take certain action. If the owner of the company wants, if the company wants you to buy a product, it will be toned in a certain way that by end of the video you are persuaded enough to do a job, right? So imagine the scale, imagine the potential, imagine the volume of content which is going to be there. And one of the most important thing which I wanted to tell you, how this has improved from 2024 to 2022, because of the volume of content we have given. So imagine if every single person will have a personalized content for them available on internet. Anyway, our social media feeds are getting personalized. What you generally see on your social media feed and what I see is very, very different, right? Because AI learned what kind of content I'm likely to more engaged with and what kind of content you're likely to more engaged with, right? We all understand how broadly social media algorithms are really understanding the patterns, that how we engage with social media, and therefore they create certain content, they offer certain content to us on our feed, and then the content which we are less likely to engage with are not coming, right? Now this is going to really impact. Now what came out as a research of this study? Research came out that people seems to prefer the AI generated images more than the image of real people. And when I say prefer, they were likely to trust AI generated images more than the real images, right? Researchers behind the study are calling the safeguard for prevent deepfakes. We all, I believe, have heard about deepfakes, where you can create content which is not real. You can create the persona of the person who's not at all real. These days, there is a trend going on where we have AI influencers who are not real, but you can see their daily life on social media. You can see they have millions of followers. They are getting the brand endorsement, etc., from big brands, uh, but they don't exist. They're not real, but they show their entire life. They're having the dinner table. They're all travel travel bloggers. Everyone is they're creating their AI avatars. AI is presenting new and complex ethical issues, and we will have a separate webinar on this when we will talk about how ethical issues are emerging across the globe, how this is a technology which is ahead of some of the rules which are there in the countries, right? So we're not still there to address these complex issues. And how are we really going to identify at the end of the day, how government bodies and authorities are really going to identify whether this is something done by an AI and done by a human, right? We don't know. uh, all right, so let's move forward. With the interest of time, we are left with 10 minutes, so it is important for us to move fast. uh, See, if you see the real and synthetic data, right? The real data is going to be very, very less. In a very short span of time, you see uh, how synthetic data is increasing at compounding rate. By 2023, you can see the quantum of real data, which is there on online, which me and you, we have written on our social media, on blogs, emails, etc., and the content which is created by AI, right? So it is going to be very, very, very important for also those to understand who are going to be the decision makers of how to identify, how to do the statistical modeling on this data set, how to do how to apply those rules to understand what level of simulation is being done and what is real, what is not real, right? Let's move forward and come back to India. India is ranked among the top 10 nations in terms of investment in AI. And good thing for us that this data came in 2022, that the highest is US, China, UK, Israel, Canada, and then we are, where, we've invested so much. And since this data is of last year, now we are in 2024. So I'm sure we would have invested so much, this investment would have gone up. New startups are there. It was a nascent stage. So why are we talking about all this, and why are we talking about all this now? It is because we are here, right? The world is going to change around us. Everything is going to be very, very different in next few years. The way we consume content, the way job market works, the way how it is going to be extremely saturated to the people who are aware of AI, who knows how generative AI works, versus those who are not at all aware, who don't know how to make use of AI tools and technologies to bring efficiency in life, right? This is a quick video, shows that how long until computers have the same power as the human brain. This was a research done by Mother Jones. This says that if you see the timeline and you see how compounding really works, right? It just started from a base, and then how quickly it just how machines are able to reach. It doubles every 18 months. So knowledge of AI is compounding. We have seen the quantum of real data versus synthetic data which can be created. And this chart largely talks about how we are likely to miss this. When I say miss this, we are likely to make bad predictions about how fast AI is going. When something is increasing at compounding rate. And all of you are aware that compounding is like the eighth wonder of the world, uh, said by Warren Buffett. So, which means that when something is wonder, we're likely to miss underestimate the growth, right? We may be sitting here in our respective comfortable jobs, but very soon the world is going to change, right, around us. So, all right. One last thing that most of us don't know and likely to make bad predictions, because there is no reference point in the future. We've not seen in the history of humanity ever a technology like this coming in and changing the world like this. So we don't have a reference point, and therefore we're likely to make bad predictions about the speed that is going to change. In 1946, we got the first neural network, and how this has started changing over a period of time. If you see this chart shows the parameter count, and parameter count is the key factor that really defines how machines are able to learn things faster, right? How machines are able to create something far more realistic and far more relevant to us. And parameter count is like, let's say, pixel count in the image, right? So if the image has less pixels, it will look blurred, it will not look clear, pixelated. But the image has huge pixel counts, it will suddenly look clear to you, right? Similarly, parameter count, if more parameters are given to machines to process, it'll give you far better outcome than the previous one. If you see, there's a tweet on the right hand side which shows that how ChatGPT, how the parameter count has increased over a period of time. When we use GPT-3, which is available to us, I think GPT 3.5 is available to us to use for free. It has 175 billion parameters. GPT-4, which was released in next 6-7 months, had 100 trillion parameters, right? What what Sam Altman is saying that by next year, 2020, early 2025, we'll have GPT-5, and GPT-5 will have huge amount of infinite number of parameter count, which can do almost anything, right? Which can create any kind of content, which can create any with different set of creativity and volume. You see how this has increased, how image has increased. This is a quick image which was generated by Google long back. You can clearly observe the changes in this. You can see the how spelling has improved over a period of time, how backdrop has improved over a period of time, how context largely has improved, right? And how machines started understanding the context better than the just creating the content. So what are the possibilities? What all we can do, right? We know that there's a lot of tools I've already shown you. OpenAI, Stability AI, Midjourney, Copy AI. We heard of these tools, and they are currently one of the top ones which are being used. ChatGPT created Van Gogh poetry. So he's a painter. He's a very famous painter who created a painting of Starry Nights. But then ChatGPT was able to understand the context of Van Gogh, who he is, and what kind of persona he was, what kind of painting he used to create, what kind of content he used to you know create, and why he was popular for certain reasons. It created a poetry in the same tone. So imagine a technology is able to understand the underlying context and create something far more useful. On the right hand side, you see the snippets of GPT-4 when there was just an image uploaded of a recipe, and then GPT-4 was able to understand what this image is all about, what recipe is this, and literally how to create this recipe, right? You can also understand the calorie estimate and what is the how these things are done, what are the basic ingredients are needed to create a recipe like this, etc. So imagine uh, technologies are reaching to a stage when they're able to learn this so faster. Like I said, we are at the verge of at a point when world is going to change around us. And the only way to make use of this technology is to bring agility, efficiency, and scale around anything and everything that we do. And if we see, that is the core of any business that comes around us, right? Why this session is about precisely about marketing and sales. If you see, there was a research done by McKinsey and Company, and they've published that there are different industries which are going to be impacted by AI, right? You see product research and development, software engineering in corporate IT job, customer operations, right? Supply chain, manufacturing, finance, risk and compliances, legal, strategy, pricing for your product and business, right? Imagine companies like Swiggy and Zomato, they're having dynamic pricing. At any point in time, they're changing the pricing based on your behavior and your previous behavior and likability of buying a product, right? understanding a lot of underlying sentiment around it and changing. So you will not really realize if the price of a product has changed by 5 rupees. If you want to order, if you're hungry for a late night munching, you want to order let's say cake, and then they've just increased the price by 5 rupees for you. You don't know about others. The price increased specifically for you because you are in the process of an impulse of buying that immediately. You need that now. You will not realize the 5 rupees difference, right? Plus 10 different surcharges, and then you pay that. But imagine the quantum of money that they'll make out of it, right? If they're able to do this at scale with 100,000 other people who are buying in the same time. But the two industries which are going to be impacted the most with generative AI, sales and marketing, they are two highlighted on the top. They are going to be impacted the most, and they are going to really change the way we do sales and marketing, the way we consume content. And the quantum of content which is being created for sales and marketing, from sales and marketing for different brands out there is huge. So imagine the scale, in on the very content creation, on the very advertising, on the very customer support, is going to happen in the future, right? So let's move forward, and let's understand if there is any question on this. How GPT has changed over a period of time, reached from how GPT took just 5 days to reach to 1 million users. I think this information was spread everywhere. This has gone wildfire when people were like curious to understand what time it took for one company to reach to 1 million users, right? For Netflix, it took 3.5 million. For GPT, it took just 5 days. What all GPT can do? Because I'm sure you all have heard about one of the key tool of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. It can do content writing, email marketing, video marketing, pay-per-click advertising, social media management, SEO, and a lot more, right? How many have how many of you are aware of GPT, and how many know what GPT stands for? GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformer. It means, when I say generative, it means it is capable of creating new things. Pre-trained, it was trained on large amount of parameters and data count, and largely user-generated content, which is written as UGC here, largely came from feeds on Twitter and Reddit and Quora, etc., or Wikipedia. Then transformer. Transformer comes at last because it uses natural language architecture to do the next word prediction. So GPT is nothing but the next word predictor for you. It understands the context and it create next word for you. And this technology, by the way, was first developed by Google. They published a paper called "Attention is All You Need" long back, where this technology was created. Because of the business reasons, they had to continue their advertising business. They could not release it. It can be a case study in itself, why one business delayed something, and why how OpenAI was able to really leverage it and roll out a product, right? So what it does, what transformer does, it is largely works as a sequence prediction, right? So when you say that write an email for me for something, it immediately creates an email because it understands what is going to be the next word, right? It understands the pattern based on the information which is given to it, and then it gives you an output, right? And how do you use ChatGPT? Do we can we use a hands-on of how many people have used ChatGPT in the past? We can see a few questions which we'll answer separately. If that will not allowed by this webinar duration, then probably we'll come back to you separately with these questions. We'll publish these questions on our social media handles, because these are very, very important, and I see these important questions, and you can refer back the answers. All right, so let's go back and let's understand this. So one generative pre-trained transformer, it works on three core elements. One, pre-trained, starts with general knowledge. Then you use prompt engineering. So one, general knowledge there. For example, create an email for me. Okay, let me give an example to this. Okay, let me try and give example. If 1 second, and probably can help you understand this faster. Let's say we are in ChatGPT. I'm using currently ChatGPT 3.5. I'm writing an email, create an email copy to announce my next webinar about um, AI, for example, then it immediately creates this for me. And if you see, it has created a beautiful email about this, but still it is a general information. I have not given any specific information, right? How do you fine tune it? And where the prompt engineering really comes in picture, then when you ask this, that let's say I'm changing the prompt, create an email copy for me. And even before that, give it a role, play the role of the best email marketing expert, and create an email copy for me to announce about the upcoming webinar on AI. Also, ask any important question needed to know the context better. Now, what the input that I've given you, the prompt that I'm giving you, is to asking it to play the role of the best email marketing expert. So, so imagine now you have a tool in front of you. You have a best email marketing expert in front of you who's going to create an email copy. But because you want the system to understand more about what you want to create, and you want to create more personalized and complex outcome, which will not look generic, you are asking it to ask any important question from you, so the technology GPT can understand the context better, right? Let's understand what it is going to ask. Right, so now if you see, the mail has changed, right? This is written about the email, it has created an email about this, then it is talking about the key topics to be explored. What are we going to talk about? Secure spot. Let me ask. So, okay, so I've entered a prompt that ask any question, important question needed. So now I think it understand the context, so it did not ask any question. Let me ask again. Do you want to ask a few questions to know the context of this webinar to create a better email copy? Let's see. Now, if you see, I've just asked a prompt, and then it gave me series of questions. Now, if you imagine, these questions are important before you create an email copy, right? What is going to be the purpose and goal of this webinar? Who's going to be the target audience? What is the engagement preference? Now, if you answer these questions, it will able to create far more tailored email for you, which is going to be far more relevant, right? Uh, let's say, can you make the email look more poetic and short? Now just change the copy of the email, right? And if you see the core message in this cosmic encounter, let your curiosity guide you. Questions, shoot a star our way, right? You've never seen an email like this, and this content never existed. This content we're seeing for the first time, created by AI. Similarly, let me give you one more example of how can we quickly use AI. So let's use tool called investing.com, for example, which we generally use to do research on companies. Let's say search stocks. I'm searching for HDFC stock. Okay, let's search for HDFC stock here. This is generally a complex use that we do. Now you see a big chart in front of you. Let's say you kind of copied this chart, and then what you're going to do is to open Google Bard. And this I've just tried, so I'm just going to do it again for you. You kind of just upload this image here, and then let's say this we uploaded, and just write, explain this chart to me, and calculate the profitability if I invest 5 lakh today in the next 3 years. So how can you use these technologies and tools differently? by giving the right input, by giving the right data. So you see now this chart cent appears to be in the price rate this. It did a complete analysis on this. Uh, Now it has also said that I cannot provide financial data. However, I can provide you with some general information, etc. Because the information was not enough, right? So you can literally take a screenshot, upload it, and it gives you detailed insights around this. Right? Let's go back to this and in risk mode. So basically what you do, you know there is a pre-trained tool available out there. If you give it a role to play the best, cricket expert, and then you say that give me the guidelines of how to do the batting in much better way, it'll play the role of a best cricket expert, best cricket coach, and then it'll give you the guides around it. But then if you say that I'm playing on a different ground, right? So and that's your prompt. So change this for me. It'll change this for you, right? So you can fine tune, you can add different prompts around it, and you can get better outcome. One prompt setup example I've given you. For example, let's say you're creating content for your marketing. You can say that act like an SEO manager who knows the best copywriting and SEO technique and is an expert in education. For example, you have to deliver X number of blogs on this product and create content pillars in different clusters and give me different tone, right? Different tone of the messaging, talk like a celebrity, change the tone like a person who is a professor of the university. It changes the tone and it's create content. Then you can do keyword ranking, you can do SEO on the same content, you can create a content plan around it. And then for that content plan, you can create the detailed social media calendar around it for let's say 4 weeks or 8 weeks, right? Then once you've created the social media, you want to let your subscribers know about that blog, right? So you can ask it to play the role of, let's say, one of the marketing expert called say Godin or someone, and then ask it to create the newsletter in the same conversational tone. And all this takes not more than 20 minutes, right? So within 20 minutes you have this much of content ready which can go out there and which can start running the wheel of the business, right, much faster. And if you know how to make use of these tools and technologies, you can really bring a lot of outcome around it. On my Twitter profile, I've added a lot of prompts which can be used, and I've got a lot of interesting updates on this. For example, you want to learn decision making skills, it provides a 3-day learning plan how to help and learn better, right? Decision making is one of the things. You want to learn any particular strategy from the 4 quadrants. You want to learn SWOT analysis of a business. You can just enter the name of the business, it'll do the SWOT analysis for you and whatnot. We also know how this is being personalized in real-time conversations, how different brands are using. For example, Spotify, they rolled out their own chatbot, which is from generative AI, which knows what kind of music you're likely to like, and it creates a playlist for you, right? Your Google Analytics data shows the summary of the insight, which knows that what information you've been generally pulling out from Google Data Analytics about your business. So it creates a separate report for you, which is shareable, right? Or look at Twitter, right? It says that I just found out that your Twitter post on Tuesday performs 70% better than any other day. It would be good idea to post on these days more often, right? This is where generative AI or AI largely comes in picture, which really brings a lot of efficiency and simplification in the job, right? So these are different use cases. This is the last video, which I know we've extended the time. So this is the last video which talks about how so we know for every product we must be getting calls from real estate companies or people who want us to buy a product. We get so many telemarketing calls, right? So this company Air, they came up with a generative AI product which can do all outbound calling, persuasion, and pitch and discounting and everything. So this video is there for you, and then after that we'll take all the questions needed. Just 1 second. Once again, let me put this on YouTube. Let me play this on YouTube. I think this got stuck for some reason. Name video here out of curiosity. Okay, it's here. Sorry.
ChatGPT सीखना है, आ जाओ, सिखा दूंगा।
1 second.
Presentation 2 मिनट में बनाना है। Oh,
Yeah, I suggest to watch
Hey,
this
James.
video.
yeah, who's this?
Hey, James. It's Alexander from Tesla Motors. How's your day going so far?
It's going pretty good, my man. How about yourself? You said from Tesla, right? The car company?
Yeah, that's right. I'm calling from Tesla Motors, the car company.
So this goes on
Do
and
you have
on.
any
It's a
trouble?
3-minute
Well,
call,
my option there is
which
see what you guys had available.
the general talk time, which we generally know when we call a convert a lead,
That's
it takes
a smart
around
approach,
5 to
James.
7 minutes for
It's always
someone
good to
to,
explore your
help
options
understand about the
before
product,
buying.
persuade,
Out of
help
curiosity,
understand
what
the
do you currently
options.
drive?
This tool really allows
Yeah, I
you to
drive
do
a
that without any
Ford
human
Fusion, my man.
intervention, right? You can just Google this video
Nice,
on,
the
I
Ford
mean, you can
Fusion.
just search this
Why are
video
you
on
looking to
YouTube and you
switch
can
things up?
watch it. This is going to be very interesting to understand how AI can really understand the underlying, sentiment and patterns and how it can really maneuver the conversation in such a way that it takes you to the objective of the business and right and what it is trained for. So it's an interesting case study on how how sales as a core functionality is going to change in this and how this is going to change and operate the business. So all right, so I think this is the end of the webinar, guys. I've got a lot of questions. Second, I've got a lot of questions and thing in this. So okay, so I think one question that came. Let me answer these questions one by one from everyone. So I think there was one question from Sri Krishna Lomte. He asked about, can you please give an example for machine learning in AI? So I think I've taken you through this. I have already answered this question. Question from Chandan says, what are the low investment AI entrepreneurship? This is something that I've already answered. So to create a product out of AI, there are again AI tools available out there. So the low cost is by default taken care of. You just need someone who's a full stack developer and who knows how to use plug and play and AI APIs, open AI APIs to bring different systems together, process the data, and create a product out of it. Now, I think as we speak, I think there are a million or so businesses are taking the open AI wrapper and they are creating product out of it. There are different case studies, interesting case studies when there is a business, underlying business. For example, let's say there is a open AI wrapper that helps you decide what kind of show you should watch on Netflix. So it scrolls all the Netflix data. It knows your persona, and you just say that I'm feeling really low. What should I watch today? Or I'm feeling happy. What should I watch on Netflix today? And it crawls the entire Netflix data and tells you this is the kind of product you should watch, right? This is the kind of series or web series or movies you should watch or documentaries you should watch. And imagine this as a solution given to people, right? They just need to install a app, 2 MB, 3 MB app, which runs on GPT wrapper or Google wrapper, and it gives you instant answers on what to watch, a quick recommendation engine of what to watch. And how much time do we really waste on figuring out what to watch today, what not to watch, right? There's a question by Anonymous. He's asking, how are brands currently utilizing artificial intelligence to enhance their marketing strategies and customer engagement? What are the trends we are actually working? Okay, so broadly, this is already covered, but this talks about, this goes back to the same thing that people are using, content creation tools like chatbots, videos. One example in front of you is this company called Air. They already have, I think, 13,000-14,000 customers across the globe. When businesses are using this tool to bring the efficiency on the very conversion that is happening, very persuasion that is happening. Imagine a tool like this is making 100,000 calls in real time to 100,000 different customers, right? And you don't really need to have those people on the floor, right? You don't have to pay any upfront cost, no salary, nothing. You would have a technology which understands your business, which understands the need of the customer, and which persuades the customer in a way to convert. It can offer a real-time discount if needed. It can offer a coupon code if needed. It can help send a respective payment link or a page link or a product link for people to know more about your product or make payment to someone. It can collect the payment. It can create the receipt and give it to you, right? So it does, and companies have already started using it. Remember the chart that I've shown you where India is in top 10 list of AI investment companies, where like startups, but in the list at the top, right? US and China, and the kind of products that they've been able to build are crazy. The volume of startups who are there and solving business problems are insane, and they're being used by companies like this, right? Question from Chandan: is there any course offered by Edvancer on AI consulting, providing consulting services to a business looking to implement AI solutions, optimize workflows, and improve decision-making process using AI technology? This is a fair input. As of now, we do not have a course like this. However, this is in the pipeline. We are very, very soon, in next few months, we are aiming to roll out a product which talks about how to really use AI across different, dimensions of business. So for example, if you want to use AI in healthcare, how to use it. If you want to use AI in agriculture, how to use it, and what are the headways, what are the different tools and technologies and necessary information you need to kind of imbibe to be able to use it, right? So we will very soon have this, Chandan, covered for you. Sri Krishna Lomte: can we use generative AI to make a proper working model? Absolutely. You can use generative AI to do so heard of BCG metrics? BCG metrics looks at a business and divides in 4 quadrants and decides which part of the business need more attention, more focus, right? So similarly, a generative AI can understand, study a business and create a working model, create a P&L model, create a balance sheet out of it, and says that this thing is going to work, not work. The best part about generative AI is that once you've created something, you can create layers of different, APIs and bring quantum of knowledge which is there. So for example, let's say you've created a generative AI product for text creation, right? But tomorrow you want to move to the audio creation. So you can just bring one layer of audio creation generative AI API from the set of generative AI tools which are there, and then merge it. What it does, it reads all the text data that you've created so far, and then it creates the audio out of it, and then same video, and then same code out of it, right? And once you've reached to the level of code, through the context that you've given, you can practically create anything and everything out there, right, for you. All right, question from Anirudh: if large amount of generative data, synthetic data is being created, will it not going to hamper the predictive power of models going forward? Uh, so it is not really going to hamper the predictive power. In fact, it is going to increase the predictive power, because it goes back to the basic, Anirudh, it goes back to the basic mathematics of permutation and combinations, right? So if you've studied permutation and combination, the more n number that you have towards the processing, towards the permutation, you are able to predict things better, right? How likely the right outcome is going to be, right? It goes back there. The more data point that you give, the better machines are able to understand the context of something. The more it is, I think, at their level, it is less about understanding the difference between synthetic and real data. It is more about understanding the quantum of data and what is going to be the outcome of it, and rest of the things where neural networks really plays a role, where they really understand the underlying pattern in the data. What is going to be the context? I think this has been the biggest uh, gap so far. We've created so much of content, so much of technologies, where tools and technologies were giving us answers in the form of content. With what input are we giving? So remember, if you go back to the Google search earlier, those days, you used to search for something and then you used to get websites who had similar information as a result for you, right? So they used to read your content and they used to just map that content with billions of pages they have indexed in their database, and then give you, result of those pages who are more likely to rank on top, and the quality, etc., comes in picture. But now, if you search something on Google automatically understands your query and gives the response which is relevant to your query, right? Google also reads your content consumption behavior, because you generally logged in your Chrome browser, so it knows what kind of persona you are, what kind of answers you are likely to see, so it creates an answer for you which never existed, right? So I think this is going to be better going forward. Okay, so next question is from Anurag again. Isn't GPT-4 a combination of multiple model amalgamated together? I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely correct. It is. Shiv Lakshmi Venkatraman asking, Srivar Lakshmi Venkatraman, I'm sorry, asking, what impact AI is going to have on Indian classic music education? Oh, that's interesting. So I think it's about bringing scale and efficiency. One is when it comes to classical arts, I personally believe they should not be, impacted by AI. But because it is going to understand the, let's say, for example, learning pattern of someone, every person, we have different style of learning. Some of us can learn the classical music far faster than others. So maybe understanding our persona, understanding what are the cues that can help us understand and learn that music faster than others, maybe those cues can be used to enhance. So in this case, consider AI is like an accelerator. Okay, if I am slowing down in some area and AI is able to identify what is that area, it can be scaled faster, right? And I can do the same job. I can learn faster. Question by Ritu Srivastava: how it work if we have data in Excel, Word, or PDF like? Okay, so this is an interesting question. So if you have, let's say, large amount of data in Excel, and then there is a chart created in Excel, right? You can just take this, like the way I did. You can take the screenshot of the chart, and once you upload the screenshot of the chart in Google Bard, for example, right now it allows you to do that. It uh, it reads everything around it and gives you insight out of it, right? Once you have data in Excel or PDF, it needs to be coded in the form where generative AI and machine learning can be applied on this. Someone was mentioning about the regression analysis. It goes to that level where it was able to statistically predict the outcome of something, right? So Excel also is coming up with these models. It can just, on the right hand side, it uses AI tool to give you insight of the data that you've already created in Excel, right? I think you need to just upgrade it to the next upgraded version of MS Excel or Office suite, when they have already embedded Copilot, which is a product of product of Microsoft, which reads your data in Excel and gives you the insight of the data immediately. So don't really need to go through the 100,000 cells. It reads everything, build insights for you, give you, if you like the insight, you give your input. If you need something else for it to read and give you insight, it does that, right? All right, I think there is one more product which I want to recommend to all of you. Search for Google Gemini, right? You've seen Google Bard, how it operates. Google Gemini is again 10x faster, better, and efficient in terms of knowing what we want. And this video is about a guy explaining how Google Gemini works, right? It draws something on a paper, and machines really understands what it is trying to create out of it. Right. So thank you so much, guys. I think I have answered all the questions. If there is any question missing, please let me know. All right. So I'm wrapping the session here. Thank you so much for joining.
Hey, James.
And yeah, look forward to see you in the next webinar. All right, everyone. Thank you so much.